What is up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, and today I want to talk about Starscream, Armada Starscream, to be honest. And yeah, Starscream is a character who has. So back in his original show, he was, of course, bad guy. He's typically Megatron's like right-hand man. And as with most of the shows, he wanted to overthrow Megatron and, did a pretty good job. Though at one point he did actually side with the Autobots because the Decepticons were mean to him. But yeah, so the Starscream toy was a MaxCon that was released back in 2002, I want to say, making this toy old enough to drink. Back when this show came out, G1 toys were older than this toy is now. God damn, how's that for feeling old? But yeah, he's this jet, big, kind of a big take from the Starscreams that used to from like the G1 Starscream. For one thing, he's a lot bigger. As I recall, this is the first Starscream toy that we had since the G1. Because the last show that came out before this was Transformers Robots in Disguise, and that didn't have a Starscream. That did have a Darkscream, but that was a completely different character. But anyhow, he comes with a minicon, as all of the guys in Armada did. You can clip it under here if you so want, which is kind of fun. They put in additional molding here on this figure to make the nose cone slant downwards. On the Japanese one, the nose sticks straight out, and they do this so that, like, if you smash it into the cat, the nose will just fold in instead of, stabbing somebody. We don't want any violent Starscream related bludgeoning deaths. But yeah, molded well enough. He's got good gray paint and red. No red plastic, I think, except for Swindle. Red here and his thighs for sure. But this is all, let me say, that's red plastic. This is painted. He does have electronics, and this one is all fueled up, ready to go. If you press the cockpit, he makes that noise there. And if you pull back on this minicon port, it makes... There, let's pull back on that. And that doesn't shut up for a while, does it? Yeah. It's just a bit too loud, isn't it? While he's got the minicon in here, it does change the sound effect. That's not the usual one, but if you press down on this, you can deploy Swindle, and then it makes that noise. Swindle is just a little minicon. He's got a super simple transformation, like all the minicons at the time. Bring his arms out, fold that down, slide this down to reveal his head, flip this down to make his feet and separate his legs, and there you go. He does not have any articulation whatsoever. No forward and back on his legs, no forward and back on his arms. He can move this transformation joint, and this transformation joint, and that's it. Oh, and this transformation joint. But yeah, it wasn't the way the minicons looked that that made the line fantastic. I say fantastic with like quotation marks because I don't know, man. The Armada line really brought in the like. I guess I can't say that it introduced the gimmick functions, but it was one of the ones that really kind of capitalized on it, and then that created a trend. But you've got a Minicon port right here, and this is just a 5mm port with like a little boss in the middle, and that little boss in the middle presses a button in the center of this, and that does things. In this case, it flips out his guns, boy. And you can push those, or I thought you could. Maybe it's these. No. Do you pull on them? Oh shoot! You pull on them. These are back in the day when they're like, yes, we will make them with big spring. If child die, child die. Yes. But that's his thing. Now this gimmick, it doesn't really stay in super securely. You don't need a Minicon to make it go. But let's get him transformed up real quick. That's really what the Transformers was all about. So we're going to take and click these out, rotate that. You can flip out his heels, his heelies. When you put his crotch into place, here, let's rotate his legs down. When you put his crotch into place, it makes his head go thunk on this really like aggressive sounding spring-loaded clunk. Fold that down. His arms will kind of unfold from here to be just super fucking long. Yeah, so you unfold that, and then you can go around in here and pull out his hands. I'm just going to use this spudger. I'm going to use the spudger. Yeah, there we go. And then you fold up his wings. And that, as they say, is that. And you know, I mean, he looked good in the show. This is where these toys really kind of show their age. Like, the proportions are all super weird. His arms hang down below his knees. His fists are super tiny. His head is ginormous. He's got no, like, hip articulation aside from kicking forward and back. He's got, his arms won't go out. His hips won't go out. He's just this mess of ratchets and whatnot. And, like, I mean, I don't remember collecting Transformers in 2002. I'm going to be honest. And I don't remember thinking, oh my gosh, it's Armada Starscream. I remember still being really interested in like G2 figures. Wishing that I had some of those still. But you can pull his wing off. I just dropped a figure. You can pull his wing off and unfold it. Which, by the way, Cool little Decepticon symbol running across two little pieces of plastic there. And yeah, he's got a sword. He's got a sword. You can put it in his hand. I'll put it in his other hand. He's right-handed, right? Doesn't matter. And yeah, Starscream. You can rotate these out. Rotate these out. Oh, let's get an action pose. The head doesn't even rotate. Gosh. Action pose. Enable. Rah. Rah. Action pose. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But he was great in the show. He was played very evilly. And he definitely left an impression on people. I've heard a lot of people over the years talk about Armada Starscream. And that's really the most important thing. So let's fast forward to the thrilling 30s. So for the 30th anniversary of Transformers, Hasbro and Takara was like, you know what, we're gonna make new figures that homage all these older figures from the other lines, and they're gonna be awesome. And so here's the Armada Starscream homage, and straight away you can see that he is a pretty good homage. He's got your nose cone, he's got your little canards here, he's got the wings, the big old booster things. You don't have these flip out, but you do have missiles built into them. They're on the like these solid state launcher things. I forget what exactly they're called, like little push launches or whatnot. I think it's kind of cool how the like yellow part comes out first and then it like ka-chunk. In some ways these feel like they shoot even harder than the Armada Starscream's missiles, but they're much lighter weight as well. Transformation, like the arrangement of the figure is mostly the same. You're missing, you know, the arms point backwards instead of forwards. The wings aren't as full looking, and you know, mostly it's the same, but there's a lot of little differences in here. To get him transformed up, it's a lot the same. We'll start with the legs. Fold this out, rotate that. Fold this out, rotate that. You can take his arms and fold them forward. Flip out the hands. And then we will fold down this. This will pop out his head automatically. Very nice. Flip out this guy here. That'll give us space to flip down the nose. The nose will tab in. There's two little tabs under here and two little holes on that part. And that will just kind of chunk together. And we'll pull out the heels, his heelies. I'll use the spudger for this too. Flip up his wings. And there's Armada Starscream. And again, he's a really good homage to the original Armada Starscream. You know, he's got the gun things, the vents, the cockpit on the chest, you know, gray and red and black in all the right places. It's a good looking homage. His wing does not turn into a sword, but you'll see here that his wings do conceal swords. Now, I'm trying to be very careful with these because they are made out of dreaded clear plastic. Oh, I lost one. And they're only held together by these clips. But yeah, you can, they'll come in folded up like so. And then you can unfold them, doing so very carefully. And then they've got little 5mm pegs, and they'll fit into his hands. And I mean, not sure exactly what all can be said about this. Now, one of the things that they did introduce on this Starscream in particular is they introduced this function here where you can fold that back. And this has basically become, I don't know, full disclosure, I've never actually watched Transformers Armada, so I don't know if this was a function that he did in the show. But ever since the original Armada Starscream, this has been a function that all of the figures have had, and makes me suspect that maybe there's something else going on there. But yeah, this one does have light piping, though. I mean, it doesn't look bad because you can see plenty of like color in his eyes, even when you don't have light shining directly into it. But light piping is always just, I don't know. Back when I was a kid and the G2 figures were like light piping, and I was like, holy smokes. But like ever since then, I don't know. It's kind of half-assed thing. Also, he doesn't have a Minicon, but he does have Minicon ports. So you can plug the Minicon into it, and it even has a little hole in the middle, but they don't do anything. So, and that was all we had for the longest time. Fast forward to the Transformers Legacy series, and we finally was announced that we're getting a new Armada Starscream, and this is going to be made with modern technology, modern builds, modern all that stuff. It's a pretty snazzy thing. There are some things that I personally wish maybe could have been a little bit better. It would have been nice if these were sculpted in like the original Starscream and not just chunked on like that. It would have been fun to see. Well, that wouldn't have fit. It would have fun. It would have been fun to see a Minicon port on him. I don't know. I do like that he came with this Star Saber, though understandably it doesn't do anything besides just look like a Star Saber sword. But yeah, his outline is all pretty much the same. I do like that he tucked his arms underneath like this, like the original. I think that kind of feels more distinctive to me of the original silhouette of Starscream than tilting the arms back. But these are now just run by hand, the guns. And to get him transformed up, we'll just pull out the arms, flip out the legs, pull out the heels, fold these in, which fills up that space quite nicely. There's some interesting stuff going on here in this section. So, of course, you push that out and that ejects his head. But, like, there's also this additional little panel in here that it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything in the robot mode because it's held in place by here. It's this panel right here that you can see it. folding out of the way here. Like, it can retract, but there's no need for it to retract. There's no point when it should retract. I'm not sure exactly why they made that movable. I almost feel like maybe it's there to protect against if you overextend this. In which case, that's a clever bit of engineering. All right, let's get that head properly tabbed in. Yeah, there's a little tab underneath the neck, and it plugs into the way this all comes together. So there are definitely a couple different, when you get this tabbed in, let me flip out his hands real quick, and I'll talk about some of the interesting engineering stuff that they threw out for this version of Armada Starscream. One of the things that I like is that, so while you're in this mode here, it is intended for you to flip this down, and there are little tabs right here and slots right here specifically to hold that in place while you're in this mode here. But then if you feel that you want to, and that locks these in place, like these don't move now. But if you untab this and then fold all of this down together, there's like a secondary spot for this all to park down there. And it can all work out pretty well. And I like the way that looks. I like the way that feels. I kind of dig the wings being down. First of all, it makes it so that they don't stick out super far on the back like this. But also, these kind of now, I feel, homage the like intake vents that the G1 Starscream had. These canards flapping around, I know that sticking out is a very distinctive thing for them to do, but I like that you can move them up and get some like really good like crouching poses, because you can bring that leg up so much more with that canard able to fold out. Oh, hey, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll just put that back on there and pretend that didn't happen. Cat. But yeah, another good-looking Starscream. Let's put him off to the side, because there's still one more entry on this, which is the Mechanic Skull Studio, I think is what they're called. Serious. This figure is just fantastic. Now, I think that would have been great if his arms had... Yeah, there's no real storage options for them to point forward, is there? Especially after having the Armada Starscream in hand, I kind of feel like those arms kind of turning into like little fuselages or I don't know, some sort of underwing pods is kind of a distinctive look for the alt mode. But like this handles all of it really well. And of course, the transformation on this guy is exactly what you'd expect. It's kind of a mix. Well, like I like the way the feet fit up underneath in there. That's something that you see on the Legacy version. But I also like the way these combined. Actually, that's something that you also see on the Legacy version. Did they take anything from the Thrilling 30s version? Not really. But anyhow, yeah, just pull this out, flip this around, flip this around. My cat is very upset at me because I won't let her into this room to play with my expensive third-party figures that, if she knocks them off the shelf, are nigh unto irreplaceable. But you know what? You can just be angry, cat. I ain't gonna do anything about it. You're never getting in here. I mean, you can get in here, but only under close, heavy supervision. One of the things that I really like about this is this little function here. So this little tab comes up, and then these flip together, and then this folds down, and it doesn't tab in anywhere down here. But it's kind of a fun little thing that it does. Oh, these fold the other way. The other way? Yes, like that. And one of the things that I think is really interesting about this figure, I should have mentioned it in my review that I had made, that has come out some time ago. Is the location of his little figure stands. So he's got a port here, and I think that'll hold a port for the stand, but you can also plug one in back here as well. And then, of course, there was one under here that's really good for the vehicle mode, because it balances it super well at that point. There's a tab. Sorry, I'm playing around with this tab here, trying to get it to seat in a way that I feel is proper. And I think that's it right there. God, this little figure looks so good. And the sculpt on this is really good. It's interesting because you see sculpt in here, like these almost look like Jetfire homage stripes. They're not painted, of course, but they're like sculpted in. There's some really good greebles in here. I feel like a really light gray wash would bring out a lot of these little greebly details on him. But yeah, let's bring these all out together. I think these are a fantastic little assortment of figures. Whoops. But I'm not going to lie. This Legends Class 1 is my favorite. And it's not even very close. Like, the Legacy one is done really well. But like the Legends one is basically perfect. I mean, it's got the Legacy one beat in terms of, sculpt and articulation for sure. I also like that it has, the wing actually turns into the sword. But like, if you don't really like that, you can, put it back on there. And this is basically indistinguishable from this wing. So I bet he can dual wield these with his little 3mm or 5mm hands. That'd be kind of fun. I'll have to play with that later. Yeah, he would hold that quite well. There's all the Armada Starscreams that are out. If you're looking for one for a regular like chug collection, definitely throw out your Thrilling 30s and get that one. But if you are mostly interested in like function and details and whatnot, that Legacy one is really, this Legend scale one is really good. Now, granted, like these figures are the same cost. And that's something to think about if you're one of those people who is concerned with the size of their figures. They're the same cost. And so you get more inches per dollar with the Legacy one. But like, I don't know. I'm very much about the, am I going to get the one that is bigger, or am I going to get the one that is definitely more enjoyable? And I think that this is a really enjoyable figure. But I love just how much it pays homage back to the original. It's cool. But anyhow, I am just doing a comparison here, just doing a breakdown of all these figures. And I'm not trying to sell anything at this point. So everybody get the one that you think that you like best. And you guys, thanks for watching. It's been kind of a weird thing. I don't do these very often. I probably won't do them very often in the future either. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. You guys are all fantastic, especially if you stuck around this far. And I will talk to you later. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya. Chloe, when did you become so huge? When did you become so huge? You were like half the size when I got you. Why do you keep growing? Why do you keep... I fell for the trap. Are you sploot? Are you sploot? Are you sploot?